that crystals? Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new here. Look, I did my makeup. I'm sure you guys know what this video is about, obviously by the thumbnail. I'm kind of pissed off though because I wanted to record this in the room with the natural light coming in. And you guys were gonna see that I actually tried for today's video. Like, I did the whole R.E.M makeup, the hair. I actually tried for today's video, but it's raining, and not only raining, but it's a whole thunderstorm, so there's no natural light. So I had to unfortunately use my ring light, and I feel like it doesn't show the hard work that I did, but there you go. All right, you guys, so it's taken me a while to get here. Right now it's thundering, like crazy thundering, so if you hear the rain in the background, I hope that's soothing. It kind of goes with the whole perfume thing. And if you hear construction, I apologize. I'm actually surprised that they haven't stopped, but we're going to ignore that and let's get into what you came here for. Okay, so for this review talk chit chat, we're going to do things a little bit different. I'm gonna start off basically working backwards, and I'll get into packaging, pricing, all that towards the end. I'm gonna have timestamps down below so you guys can skip if you wish, but I'll basically tell you an overview of what I think about the perfume from the very beginning, because I'm pretty sure that most of you guys clicked for that, and I'm sure that you probably just don't care to hear me, but I just find it hypocritical and it bothered me and it got under my skin. I ramble and rant about things that probably don't matter to you. As soon as I smelled it, I just thought that it smelled like cloud with some differences. So to me, it smelled like a flanker of cloud. So it was the cloud DNA with some added powderiness and an emphasis on the lavender note. That's my overview on first impression. But once the fragrance evolved on my skin, it started taking a different take. And it still had the cloud DNA, but it was getting kind of farther and farther apart from cloud, at least in texture, as it dried down completely. Now, I'm not 100% sure if she marketed to be a flanker of cloud, but if it is a flanker of cloud, I'm just not surprised. I mean, just on bottle alone, you can see that they're pretty similar, and that's usually what happens with flankers. They keep the same bottles. So hello, hi. I don't think that it takes a genius to figure that out. It has similarities but differences, and what I found to be is that the notes that are used in R.E.M are very similar to the notes that are used in cloud. It's just those particular notes have a different texture in R.E.M, or they have minimized the sweetness. So I'm gonna break it down to you guys step by step so you understand what I'm talking about. All right, so to start off, cloud has a top note of pear. R.E.M has quince and it has pear blossom. I was not familiar with quince and I've never tasted a quince, so I looked it up, and basically quince gives off this cross similarity between a pear and an apple. So there you can see that particular note being similar to cloud, just a different take essentially. So whereas in cloud the pear gives it a slight fruity touch, and in R.E.M there's more of a floral composition to that fruit, and it's not as sweet as well. Moving on, you hear it in the background. Look, I can't do anything about it. Moving on to lavender. They obviously both have lavender, so there's not much for me to talk about there. I will just say that the lavender in cloud is only present in the opening, and then it dries down to what we know cloud to be more of a coconutty, airy whipped cream. And in R.E.M, that lavender note is more emphasized, and it's there for me throughout the whole way. So cloud has a coconut note and R.E.M has a fig note, and fig can come off as like green, like leaves, or it can come off as coconutty to some people. So I'm sure that for R.E.M that was the coconut note that is in cloud. Now, whereas in cloud I feel like I can detect the coconut more, in R.E.M that fig note, I feel like it adds on to that coconut DNA that's in cloud, but I can't say I specifically can pin out a coconut note. I think it just adds on to that illusion of the DNA rather than saying this is a coconut fragrance, you know what I mean? Okay, now getting down to the most important part, I feel what makes both fragrances different but similar. I think my air was on the whole time. If you guys heard that, look, it's been a long day trying to make this damn video. Texture, I was talking about the texture of the perfumes. So in Cloud, there's whipped cream. R.E.M, there is Zephyr. I think that's how you pronounce it. I looked it up. I forgot. I'm not gonna look it up again. You know what I'm talking about. Whipped cream is made by beating eggs or heavy cream with sugar. That's how you make whipped cream. Zephyr, I looked it up because I didn't know what that was. To me, it looked like a merengue or meringue. And if you're not familiar with meringue, it's hard to a touch, but once you put it inside your mouth, it melts right away. However, I found out that it looks like a meringue, but it has a marshmallow texture, marshmallow quality, so it's just shaped as a meringue, but it's pretty much a marshmallow. The way you make this, because I did look it up because I'm actually gonna make it because it seems pretty easy, is pretty much the same way that you make whipped cream. Egg whites, sugar, but you have an added berry puree, and that's where they take on the different texture, and I feel that's pretty significant to the perfumes because Cloud remains airy and light, whereas this one becomes more powdery. And from now on, when I talk about powdery, I'm not talking about baby powder. I'm talking about more of a confectionery powder. Think of a marshmallow and think of a like powdered sugar. There is also an added tonka bean note in here. It adds on to that extra powderiness with a slight spice. This is not a spicy fragrance whatsoever at all, but there's this added touch, especially on the emphasis of that powder. Think of like a big fat white marshmallow, and when you take it outside of the bag, usually marshmallows have this very thin powdery residue on the outside, or like the bottom of the bag is usually where that remaining powder kind of usually sits down. So that's what I get in this one. Also, one thing that I forgot to mention, Cloud has praline and this one has caramel or salted caramel, and I feel like the praline or caramel adds more of a sweetness to each of them, but I can't say that this is a praline fragrance and I can't say that this is a caramel fragrance. I don't think that they're prominent notes. Right, what else did I want to add on to tell you guys? Oh yes, very important. Also, they both have musk and they have woods. In Cloud, I'm pretty sure it just said like woodsy notes according to Fragrantica, but in this one it's described to be a sandalwood, and this is where this perfume comes in. I'm not gonna go too detail and deep into it because I don't think that they're the same, but there are two particular notes that I pick up in this perfume that I also pick up in this perfume, and that is that salty woody musk, and to be specific, a salty sandalwood musk. And if you're not familiar with this fragrance, this to me leans unisex, leaning masculine. This gets sweeter with time. Anyways, this to me is this also has whipped cream, let me mention that, but I'm not gonna go that route. If not, this video is gonna be like 500 years. But this is to me airy, salty, woody musk fragrance. This also has sandalwood, and it also has that clean whatever. So that sandalwood salty musk that I get in here is also what I find in R.E.M. Now, the lavender notes in here, I won't say that it's uberly masculine. If you're not familiar with lavender, you might find it leaning masculine, unisex leaning masculine. If you are familiar with lavender or you have other lavender fragrances, this is not like barbershop-y. I don't find this to be like a cleaning product. I don't find it to be an essential oil. If you have smelled those before, especially the essential oil, which I have literally right next to me, I'll insert a picture right here, that literally smells like a Hollister store. This is not the lavender that it's in here. Now, since I'm comparing it to Cloud, because I'm sure that most of you guys are familiar with Cloud, I have to emphasize the lavender notes because it is definitely more emphasized in R.E.M than it is in Cloud. In Cloud, it takes on a completely different fragrance, which I love. The opening of Cloud, it's my favorite. That lavender note is mostly just in the opening. In R.E.M, it stays out throughout the whole way. So to me, Cloud is in the opening unisex leaning masculine. However, Cloud opens up like that but takes on a completely different take. Once Cloud goes in through that middle face and dries down on the skin, on the hair, whatever you apply your fragrance, I don't know, Cloud takes on a more feminine, definitely super feminine. I don't think many men can pull this off. I just find it too pretty to be worn by men. R.E.M, however, it's not a manly fragrance to me, but in comparison to Cloud, it is definitely unisex leaning masculine. Now let me explain. Taking Cloud out of the picture and just talking about purely on R.E.M, to me, I find R.E.M alone, not comparing it to Cloud, unisex leaning feminine. And I say that because of that confectionery sweet powdery touch that it has. That to me is feminine. Even though it has an emphasis on the lavender note, it's not strong enough for me alone called a unisex leaning mask. However, on a strip, once it dried down, which by the way I applied on Sunday, and 2 days later I was talking to my frag friends and it was still there, pretty strong and prominent. But anyways, on the strip it dried down unisex leaning masculine, and I say that because the powderiness was gone and it was more of a sweet marshmallowy lavender, but that powderiness is what I feel adds that feminine soft touch, whereas on the strip that powderiness was gone and it was just sweet, of course, but men can wear sweet fragrances, but the lavender note was even more emphasized. And personally, I enjoyed the strip more than what it actually dries down on my skin and on my clothes. I don't enjoy the powderiness, if I'm being completely honest, as I always am. But I did prefer the lightness on the strip. On the strip, I would say that it was even more comparable to Cloud because it had this airy, cloudy touch with an emphasis on lavender. I love lavender. If you can't tell already, I have like my whole house, it's like lavender essential oils. But it was, I want to say it was almost like Killian Princess with lavender. Not the same, but I want to say almost, to kind of give you a feel, because the powderiness in here is more emphasized than it is on Killian Princess. There's a slight powderiness in Killian Princess, but not too much. In this one, it's there. It's what makes it heavy. Alright, so overall, what does R.E.M smell like to me? Like I told you guys, I think it's a flanker of Cloud. It has the Cloud DNA, but it's an emphasis on confectionery powder with an emphasis on the lavender note, and there is also that salty woody musk. The saltiness, I don't get as salty caramel, I just get a salty sandalwood musk. Alright, now let's talk about projection. Cloud on me is one that does that Houdini trick. I actually didn't even know that I could, you know, it projects till I've said this before. A coworker of mine said I smelled really good, and she even ended up buying Cloud after she smelled it on me. So I love Cloud. Now R.E.M on me, at least from what I noticed, this is very limited, by the way, because whereas in Cloud I used to wear it everywhere, I can't say that I've worn this anywhere in particular. I did wear it one day though to a family gathering that we had, and no one said anything, and I don't think that they said anything because I don't think they could smell it. So the whipped cream in Cloud is what I feel allows it to project on me personally, and it, you know, leaves the trail, all that. Whereas in R.E.M, for me, that confectionery powder kind of just thickens up the fragrance, I want to say, and it makes it a slight bit heavier. So it's more of a skin scent and it stays more close to you. So I feel like that alone adds on to that texture, and it doesn't allow it to project as much as in Cloud. I did a 3-day test for R.E.M. I did a night test and it passed it. I woke up the next day and I could still smell it on my sweatshirt. Then I did a 2-day test, like throughout the day. I wore it, like I said, to family gathering. No one said anything, no one perceived anything, and to be honest, I could barely smell it on myself. And I did it one day just being around the house, doing chores, all that, and I couldn't smell it. This is one that I have noticed that doesn't really stay on my skin, but it stays on my clothes, and I do have to overspray it. Cloud is another one that I also have to overspray, but I don't mind overspraying as long as I get the end results that I want. R.E.M is one that I had to overspray and I didn't get any projection or leave a trail, or I feel even lasted a long time. The only time that I noticed that it lasted a long time was when I did the night test. Alright, let's talk about pricing real quick. retail priced, they're both the same. However, since Cloud has been on the market for a while, at this point you can find it on Amazon. As I always say, don't go to Fragrance Net, get it from Amazon. It's cheaper on Amazon, even if you use the coupon codes on Fragrance Net. Because R.E.M is obviously new to the market, you're not gonna find it on Fragrance Net. You're going to find it at Ulta, and the retail value for the 3.4 I believe is $64. Let me look it up before. It doesn't take me that long to look it up. Yeah, so it's $64 for the 3.4. For me personally, that's pricey. And I say that not because it's an Ariana perfume, and I'm not mad that I didn't even pay the $64, by the way. I ended up paying almost $60 with tax and everything. It was like 50 something for the 1.7. But I'm not mad at all because I did it for review purposes, so I can't get mad. You know what I mean? Like, no one forced my hand. I bought it on my own, and I wanted to buy it to review it for you guys. I barely ever pay retail value, like ever. I only buy from the stores if they're having some sort of sale where the sale is better than on Fragrance Net, and I only advertise on my community posts and stuff like that when it's only better than Fragrance Net. I do my homework. Personally, my advice to you is just wait till it gets on the discounters if you're not dying to try it, or go smell it at an Ulta, and then you can decide if you want it or not. Smell it a couple of times, especially if it has it. My Ulta had it. I was able to smell it there, and I bought it there. I think if Ulta has a sale or something like that, then it makes more sense. I posted on my community tab to get like $10 off or something like that. I think that's more reasonable, but this is completely taking Ariana out of it, taking a celebrity section out of it. I just don't enjoy paying retail price. Now, if you're dying to try it because you're an Ariana fan and you're diehard and oh my god, then go ahead and do it. Like, that's not my problem anymore. Based on the song itself, what R.E.M is about. R.E.M stands for rapid eye movement. To all of you kids, it actually does stand for rapid eye movement, but her song is pretty much about that. It's about sleeping and dreaming, and I'm not going to go into detail into it, but essentially when you enter your R.E.M stage of sleep, it's usually when you have most vivid dreams, and those vivid dreams usually are more on the erotic side. Pretty sure it was Bex that said this, or Takara or Bex. It was one of them. This description, and I think it makes sense that it kind of, this perfume makes sense because it's kind of like mixing Ari's perfume with a more manly perfume, so it kind of goes into that dream aspect, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, she had a dream and it combined two perfumes in one, so it had her perfume and his perfume, and then it makes R.E.M. You know, I wish that that paper strip is what I got in this, or what I smell from the, I love what I smell from the cap and on the strip. Like, that would have been a hitter for me. Even if this were a close skin scent, I wouldn't care that it didn't project if it was that like marshmallow lavender. And by marshmallow, I don't mean the powdery aspect of it, but more of the sweetness of the marshmallow. This marshmallow can go different ways, and trust me, I've found out. You can either get like a powdery marshmallow, or you can get more like a fluffy marshmallow, or you can get more of the sweetness of the marshmallow. I have the 1.7 and it comes off pretty easily. Like, I haven't had any problems taking it off. So I've seen a couple of people complain about the crystals and stuff like that, and I'm sure you knew that it was plastic. Like, let's be real at this point. Someone please explain to me where you're going to get a whole perfume and the packaging is going to be full-on crystals, real crystals, for $60 on top of that. I'll wait. I just don't get the point of complaining about the packaging. You knew what you were getting. You knew what you bought. Cloud, I don't care for the Cloud. I took it off. You got it, so no one forced your hand. You bought it for a reason. You don't like it. You bought it because you enjoy the perfume. Take the Cloud out, which is what I did. In regards to this, do you enjoy the perfume? You don't enjoy the packaging? Take it off, display it like so. Is this too tacky for you? Take it off, display it like so. It makes no sense to me to complain about packaging, because I assure you, Ariana was not thinking about you when it came to the packaging. She was thinking about a specific demographic, and that demographic alone. Honestly, like, all jokes aside, I'm actually not even an Ari fan. I'm sure that you would assume that I am, but I'm not. I listen to her songs here and there, but I just listen to everyone's songs. To be completely honest with you guys, I'm pretty open to listening to anyone and everything, but I just find it hypocritical, and it bothered me, and it got under my skin. Oh, the packaging, this and that. Oh, it's plastic, and once again, she is trying to target her audience. Her audience is not you and I. Like, it's just so funny to me. Why are you acting all shocked and surprised? Like, oh, it's not crystals, it's plastic. Yeah, it's plastic. What did you assume? Like, did you literally blind buy it and then you were literally shocked as you got it? I need to know. I need to know. I have questions. I need answers. I will say that in comparison to Cloud, this one has that more alcohol content in the beginning in comparison to Cloud, but it really doesn't bother me at all in both because, like I said, it only lasts for a few seconds, and after that you'll be fine. You're not going to die. It's not the end of the world, and I'm not going to pay $100 more just for me to not experience alcohol for 5 seconds. You know what are my favorite bottles? The Zara perfumes, and those are cheap perfumes, but I just like in general minimalistic perfumes. But I've kind of eventually gotten over that because I enjoy a lot of fragrances that are not in great bottles, that are not my cup of tea. Like the Moschino I Love Love, I hate that bottle. I love the perfume, so I have it. That's another one that I misjudge, as I've said before, because it's a great fragrance for me, and I was missing out just because I hated the bottle. So I think it's just unjust to talk about how cheesy it is, because it's cheesy for you, but I promise you it's not cheesy for her audience. Another thing that I want to mention is if you get the 1.7 and up, she is offering a light if you buy it at Ulta. I'm not sure what you get if you buy it online. I think there is also a bonus. I just don't know what it is because I bought it in stores. Do I find the fragrance unique? I find Cloud unique. It's one of my favorite celebrity perfumes. So obviously, as this being in my eyes the flanker of Cloud, I do find it unique. There's not a lot of celebrity perfumes out there that have a prominent note of lavender. If you guys want to know if I'm going to keep it, no, I'm not going to keep it. I already said that I enjoy Cloud more. But that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that I explained it quite well. If you guys have any questions, comment down below. And with that being said, you guys can follow me on Instagram. I'm a lot more active there than I am here. I actually talk to a lot of you guys over there. And if you are not subscribed already and you keep coming back, what are you doing? Please subscribe. It helps out my channel a lot, and give this video a thumbs up. It also helps me out a lot. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful and wonderful and blessed day, and I'll be seeing you guys in the